Everyone, welcome to this Audit Committee meeting for Tuesday, June 16th, 2026. Glad to have you all with us. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, we have the adoption of the agenda.
Move adoption of the agenda as printed.
Do you have a second?
If you like.
I don't think he knows. You need to second.
Yeah,
I second.
It's
I
since
apologize.
early.
No, that's okay.
That's right.
That's okay.
Any other discussion on this? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, we have the approval of minutes with the recommendation that the Audit Committee approve the minutes from the March 24, 2026 meeting.
I move approval of the minutes from March 24, 26.
I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I see no further discussion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously as well. And we should have schooled this a little bit beforehand, but if you, I mean, it's easy in this size, but if you want to hit that light, that lights up over here and lets me know that you're in the queue to speak, but it's pretty obvious and easy here. But since there are only two members of the committee and I can't make motions or second them, if we want something to move forward, one of y'all has to move and one of you has to second. So
Okay, thank you.
just, okay, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, we're on to the business discussion items. We have item number 2026-429, 2026 Gainesville Police Department Forensic Crime Unit, with the recommendation that the Audit Committee review, approve, and recommend the City Commission accept the 2026 Gainesville Police Department Forensic Crime Unit Audit Report.
Very good. Ms. Murphy, is this your first time clerking one of our meetings? It is. All right, well, congratulations. Yeah, very good. Mr. Auditor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Modas. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Modas to this committee. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to announce that Mr. Peter Demaris, who used to be our staff auditor, presenting here a number of audits, is now presenting this time as a senior auditor. So I would like to congratulate him on that. This audit, Gainesville Police Department Forensic Crime Unit, was performed by Diana, our assistant city auditor, and by our senior auditor, Peter, and they are going to make that presentation.
Excellent. Very good. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioner Willis, Committee Member Modas, colleagues. I am Diana Satterthwaite, Assistant City Auditor. Mr. Demaris, our Senior Internal Auditor, will be providing background information relating to the Forensic Crime Unit, and I'll provide the audit results. Before we begin, I'll take this opportunity to thank the City Manager's Office and the GPD's management and staff for their cooperation, accessibility, and professionalism throughout the audit. Their responsiveness during the audit made the process very efficient, and we would not be here presenting without them. So thank you. Mr. Demaris will continue the presentation.
Good afternoon, Mayor Ward, Mayor Pro Tem, and Committee Member Modis, Peter Demaris, Senior Internal Auditor. I have to get used to saying that. I apologize. So the objective of this engagement was to review the adequacy and effectiveness of controls over the Forensic Crime Unit, their operations, to ensure integrity, reliability, and compliance with applicable standards and policies. The scope of this audit included activities from April 1st, 2024 to March 31st of 2026. We accomplished our objective through inquiry, observation, and substantive testing, focusing on the following: governance, crime scene processing, evidence maintenance, forensic and digital analysis, external support services, and training. The GPD Forensic Crime Unit is a specialized team within the Criminal Investigations Division, staffed with 1 police sergeant, 1 police corporal, 4 forensic crime technicians, 1 forensic imaging lab technician, and 1 senior latent print examiner. The unit processes crime scenes and uses technologies such as the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, referred to commonly as NIBIN, to digitally match ballistic evidence and connect gun crimes. When necessary, the unit sends evidence to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement lab in Jacksonville for additional examination, and the unit uses a digital format for evidence analysis, requests and tracking, and employs techniques techniques such as cyanoacrylate, which means super glue essentially, fuming, and alternate light sources to search for prints or evidence that may not be visually apparent. For this engagement, we conducted a benchmarking survey in April of 2026 to compare the GPD Forensic Crime Unit's operations with those of other Florida cities, and we got 13 cities to respond, which is actually a record for us, so that was great. Our benchmarking showed that police forensic units' responsibilities included crime scene processing, fingerprint analysis, photography and videography, training, records requests, reports, and courtroom testimony, and only Gainesville and one other department provide NIBIN testing. The average length of service for forensic unit department staff in the surveyed jurisdictions was more than that of Gainesville, and we found that Gainesville does not compare favorably in the forensic staff salary category. The chart on the left is just an overview of the different services that the units provide and the jurisdictions that we surveyed. And on the right is the average length of service for the crime technician position. And Gainesville does fall into the slice that is 1 to 2 years of average length of service. And with that, I will bring Diana back up here to go through the audit conclusion.
Okay, on to our conclusion. We concluded that management designed and implemented internal controls to efficiently manage the forensic crime unit. The controls were designed to ensure integrity, reliability, and compliance with applicable standards and policies. However, governance should be strengthened to ensure that the unit attracts the necessary staff and maintains staffing levels. There are some noteworthy accomplishments that we're highlighting. GPD has a certified latent print examiner. Latent print examination is a highly specialized area within forensic science. It involves detecting, developing, and comparing prints on fingers, palms, and soles, and there are only about 900 across the United States. We also identified internal controls which were established and they are working as designed. GPD has a succession plan in place for the NIBIN program coordinator. A designated backup was trained to assume the position. We found that although the forensic unit is understaffed, training of other GPD personnel was performed in a timely manner. Also, the crime scene and evidence-related activities followed documented procedures and the procedures aligned with best practices. We identified opportunity for improvement in the area of staffing, which we will go into in the next slide. GPD Forensic Crime Unit has been unable to maintain its budgeting staffing levels. For FY 2026, their budget included 5 forensic crime technicians, 2 latent print examiners, and a forensic lab technician. The length of service for the forensic crime unit technicians, the 4 they had, averaged 13 months as of April 2026. From the survey, which Peter mentioned earlier, we found that the unit's forensic crime technician position has a higher turnover than the other cities surveyed. The starting salaries for the unit forensic crime technician is also lower than other Florida units surveyed. This chart here depicts the salaries for the cities that we surveyed. You can see that Gainesville has the second lowest salary, starting salary. The salaries for the units we surveyed range from $38,000 to $72,000 approximately, and their population was between 10,000 and over 500,000.
I have a quick question. Is there a correlation between population and salary?
When we looked at, we have another chart that's in the report, it's not here, there wasn't, so smaller cities had higher salaries than Gainesville as well.
Commissioner Willis?
And this, thank you, Ms. Ferguson, Sadler Swaite. This may be a question for city manager staff, but our crime scene technician, that position has higher turnover. Is it turning over internally? We're hiring them, somewhere else in our department? Is that turnover, or are we moving them? Like, I just want to know a little bit about, like, are they leaving the organization, or are they being promoted, or are they moving within because of either salary or the job? Just because I don't know if anybody, from GPD side can.
I'll just add that one of the things that was communicated to us is that a lot of them are just leaving the organization, and that the fact of the matter is that they can get a higher salary in a more desirable area to live, and that was one of the key factors.
There are no more desirable areas to live.
I would agree with you, but
That is a non-factual statement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Willis. Mr. Modis.
Hey, thank you. Now this being my first question. The first stage where it says GPD Forensic Crime Unit has been unable to maintain its budgeted staffing levels. Question I have on there based on training cost. So if we're bringing in people and they're here for, what's the turnover rate?
Well, for the ones they had, their average length of service was 13 months.
13 months. So with that being said, has there been a look at to see how much the training costs are? And then once those people stay here for that certain amount of time, they circle out, go somewhere else. So what I'm getting at is if we're spending the money to improve that talent, and then that talent moves somewhere else, how much is that costing us every 13 months? As opposed to perhaps if we were to retain that talent, would that be a cost savings?
We did not look at that during the audit. I'm not sure if the chief has any information.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. That's a really good question. So it's difficult for us to quantify in total what the training costs are because people leave at different stages of employment, right? We do know, however, that it is a high turnover rate and that average of 13 months is alarming to us. And it's an extremely technical job. So it's a job that we obviously try to recruit from people that have graduated with a specific degree and a skill set in forensic science. So it's not like we can just, take anybody else internally from other departments and turn them into a forensic crime scene investigator.
Right.
So it puts us in a position to look at a subset of our workforce to find out those are a good fit to the organization. Having said that, we get them, we train them. They come with the basic knowledge that gives them their degree. Some of them have internships in other places. Some of them have short-term employment because typically the position and because of the salary in part, it does attract an entry-level employee to this highly technical skilled job. And that is correct. Within, for us now, a year, 2 years, they end up looking for other opportunities, mainly because of salary. Now, it should also be said that it's not strictly salary. We've lost employees in turnover because of opportunities that fit other people's personal lives. So they leave because spouses have other opportunities. So it's not strictly and solely because of the salary, but it is the major point.
Okay. Because I would just be curious to see every 13 months how much costs are going out, and then a person leaves, and how much of those repetitive costs are happening, say, over a 5-year trend, as opposed to if we were to actually increase the person's pay, what kind of savings we would have with that training part. It's just, that was the logic behind that question. So thank you
Yes, sir.
for the answer.
The opinion I can give is, of course, a more competitive salary, starting salary, tends to retain the employee while we afford them the extra training that they will need as they progress in their new job, right?
Right.
Because it's a team of them, typically what you'll see is one gravitate towards ballistics, the other one may gravitate towards photography, sketching, crime scene sketching. So ideally, we'd like to have different skill sets within the unit that, as a team, they better handle our scenes. But the turnover is a concern.
Thank you.
Yes.
So are these sworn positions?
No, sir. No, we only have within our team two sworn positions, and they're both supervision positions. So we have a sworn police corporal and a sworn police sergeant, and then currently four civilian investigators.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
Okay, on to our recommendations. We recommended that management increase the budget for the salaries for those persons for competitive alignment with other Florida cities, or identify opportunities to attract and retain crime unit staff. Management provided the following action plan, which they will implement by March 31st of 2027. They will evaluate the feasibility of using available funding from eliminating a vacant field service technician position. This is estimated at $37,000, and they'll use it to support targeted compensation adjustment, professional development opportunities, or workforce stabilization. They will also continue to evaluate long-term operational strategies designed to improve staffing sustainability. This will include reviewing competitive compensation relative to other Florida cities. They'll explore workforce development and specialty training, and they will be working with HR and the Office of Management and Budget to identify long-term solutions. And that's our presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I do have some things, but go ahead. Yeah.
So this is, being able to solve crimes, obviously, important to our residents and our citizens in the city. These are not positions that are easy to just have like a temp worker or a contract worker temporarily come in and work, right? Is that if we lose one of these folks, the team has to pick up the work and or we get less stuff done, right? Is this a field where we don't have that opportunity to just sub somebody in?
I can answer that and say, yes, this is a very technical position. So it's not like you can lose somebody and all of a sudden you can say, hey, come over, do this. They have to be trained. And I think we did mention the fact that there are only 900.
That's for the latent print examiner. So there's a small pool, and in the detail of the report, we also highlighted that in terms of their time to fill vacancies, for the other cities, it was 1 to 14 months, and for GPD, they reported having an on-field forensic crime tech for over 3 years, and for the latent print examiner, approximately 6 years. So it's not easy to fill for them.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Willits. Mr. Modis, anything?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you.
So thank you for the work on this. I do have, I have a concern that is perhaps external to the audit, and that is that frankly, this is the first time, I've been reading audits, having audits reported to me for a long time, and I don't recall one that was specific to pay unless it was, unless we had commissioned it as a pay audit. This is curious to me. This seems like an HR function, frankly, just to be completely candid. If there is a concern with the work or the chain of how things get done, I can understand it better, but I am uncomfortable with, I would not want to see us go into a habit of using the auditor's office in place of HR. And I just want to be completely candid about that. I've never seen this at the City of Gainesville or any of the other audits that I've received over the years. And it seemed curious to me.
Yeah, I will respond and say the reason that we got into that is that as we do our risk assessment, we do individual audit level risk assessment, and we try to look at those factors that might be in the way of a department being able to fulfill its objectives. And one of them, of course, is staffing levels. And we found that this particular unit, the forensic crime unit, is understaffed. And when we identified that, now the next logical step for us is to say, why do we have this? And the reason for that, the chief tried to say there are many different reasons for that, but the major one is that of salary. And I agree, it sounds like it is an HR or audit or so, but the underlying reason is that it's a factor that we're looking at that is contributing towards the perhaps inability of a division or department to fully achieve its stated objectives.
Okay, I understand the rationale, but it remains kind of a unicorn. And I just have not seen this in audits before. And I am 100% certain that of the 1,100 or so people that work for the City of Gainesville, these 4 or so positions are not the only ones that don't match other pay. And I'm also certain that there are folks who we are at the top of the range on things across our 1,100 workers as well. And that's why in context of a pay study, I find that kind of data extremely helpful. But as a one-off in one department, I find it curious. And I'm not, please don't read too much into that, but yeah, so that's probably all I have to say about it. Is there any public comment on this, Madam Clerk?
There is no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Members, anything else?
No, good, thank
Okay.
you.
So it's a recommendation to recommend this on to approve it and recommend it on to the commission.
All right, I move that we recommend the city commission accept the 2026. I recommend we approve and send to the city commission this GPD forensic crime unit audit.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay. I don't see any other lights. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor, we have 2026-431, 2026 Gainesville Fire Rescue Badge and Physical Access, with the recommendation that the Audit Committee review, approve, and recommend the City Commission accept the 2026 Gainesville Fire Rescue Badge and Physical Access Audit Report.
Mr. Auditor.
Good afternoon again. This is Stephen Mere, City Auditor. This particular audit is an IT audit with IT findings. And as such, its presentation is not going to be like the one we just had. Our IT audit manager is going to just briefly talk about its objectives because this is a confidential audit.
Gotcha.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Ward, Commissioner Willits, Mr. Modis. Thank you for letting me be here. I am here to present the summary of the Gainesville Fire Rescue Badge and Physical Access Audit that was performed this last quarter. While not here, I do want to thank Chief Hillhouse and his staff for their assistance throughout the audit. They were very helpful, as well as the City Manager's Office for their continued support and cooperation through all of our audits that we do. So the objective of this engagement, I guess I should move this forward, was to really assess the adequacy of badge access and management of physical keys and general security over the fire station locations across the city, and to ensure basically the risk of unauthorized access is adequately managed. The scope included physical security measures for the period of October 1, 2024 through April 1, 2026. And we looked at things like perimeter security. We also looked at physical entry controls that included the badge access systems that are in place, the rotary locks that are used, as well as the physical key management for all of the locations. And we did accomplish our objective through inquiry, observation, interviews, and substantive testing throughout. And we focused on those processes that involved the physical entry parameters that I just described. This is exempt from public records, and if you do have any questions individually on the audits, we are available to meet individually for those. And Chief Hillhouse is aware that if you have individual questions that you may reach out to him as well.
Very good.
So
Thank you.
that's all I have. I want to thank you very much.
Okay. All right, comments from board members? Okay. Is there any public comment on this, Madam Clerk?
No public comment.
Okay, thank you. All right, the recommendation is to approve and recommend this to the commission. Is there a motion in that regard?
I move we approve and recommend to the City Commission the GFR badge and physical access audit.
I second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I see no further lights. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, we have item number 2026-432, City Auditor's Quarterly Update, with the recommendation that the Audit Committee review, approve, and recommend the City Commission accept the City Auditor Quarterly Update.
Very good. Mr. Auditor?
Good afternoon again, Mr. Stephen. This presentation is just a way for us, the City Auditor's Office, to communicate to governance the activities of the office. We are required to do that by our standards, and we do that. We report to the City Commission our activities through the Audit Committee. And what we are reporting to you, we'll begin with audits that have just been completed. And I'm not going to go into the details of that because it's the two audits that have just been presented. Forensic Crime Unit and the badge access. So I will skip that and go straight to audits that are in progress. At this time, we have only one audit that is going on, and that audit is Workday. It's Workday General and application controls. We started this audit a week ago. That's when we had our kickoff meeting. We are now in the process of doing some risk assessment around it. It is likely that we might scope it down a bit, but I can't say to where because we are still doing that risk assessment. We are planning to start on new audits in the near future, and we are planning to start on two. One of them is in the Fire Rescue Department. It's called Community Resource Paramedicine. The objective of that is to evaluate the effectiveness of the Community Resource Paramedicine program in achieving its intended community health objectives and to assess its compliance with regulations. We have not started this as yet, although we have communicated to management that we will be starting in the near future. Another audit that we will be starting on as well is capital assets, and we are narrowing this one to buildings and building improvements. The objective of which is to evaluate the adequacy of internal controls over the acquisition, the recording, and management of buildings. Again, this has not yet started, but it will in the near future. Another responsibility we have in the City Auditor's Office is to perform what we call post-audit reviews or follow-up audits. And the chart that you see is giving you some numbers as to the issues or recommendations that we've issued to management. It is showing you that we have 17 audits that were recommendations that were closed in this past quarter. 14 are open and 1 was partially implemented. That's a total of 32. We have accompanying percentages there. I will point out that these are all recommendations that we have made. In the next chart tries to kind of give you a little bit of more detail with respect to the audits that we are talking about. The orange bars are telling you audits that have been, that are open. Now, these open recommendations, dates of implementation have not yet passed. So we don't expect that at this time they be closed. So because their dates are still ahead of us. And all the others, you will see a lot of gray. A lot of gray there is showing you recommendations that have been closed, in other words, implemented. And one, which is, I guess you can say green or so, which is partially implemented. I'm saying this to emphasize the fact that there is a very good working relationship between the Office of the City Auditor and management, in that they are implementing all the recommendations that we are making. If you remove from these numbers the yellow or the gold bars, those whose dates are not yet passed, you can do the numbers and see that the implementation rate is 94%. And that is very good. I thank the Office of the City Manager for that, and hope that that cooperation is going to continue. Excuse me. The Office of the City Auditor in the past quarter has been invited to make a presentation at an ALGA regional conference. ALGA is the Association of Local Government Auditors. They had a conference in Virginia, and they invited us to make a presentation there. And our IT audit manager, Lisa, is the one that went over there to Virginia to make presentations on risk assessment methodology and IT audit plan formulation. She also presented on stakeholder engagement, and it was, as she says, this presentation was very well received. And I'll emphasize the fact that IT audit risk assessment is an activity that is found to be difficult by many audit shops around the country, and that is why it was important that Lisa went there to try to impart some of the knowledge that we have in this office to other audit shops out there. And I'm very thankful to Lisa because she did that very well, and it is good for us because it elevates the profile of our office, and that is something that is very welcome. Let me point out that travel and accommodation cost for this was not footed by us, but by ALGA. So we did not have to pay anything to do this. So I just wanted to make that clear. Another responsibility we have in the City Auditor's Office is to investigate reports of suspected fraud, waste, and abuse. We have a hotline that we operate through a private entity. Citizens, neighbors, builders, employees can call into this hotline anonymously if they wish to report acts of activities that they might think are fraudulent or a waste. We continue to get increasing numbers of these calls. That chart is showing you what we had last time that we came in front of you. You will see that last time we had new cases with only one. In the previous quarter when we came here last time, we had only one new case. This time we have 5. At this time we have 4 open investigations, and we have closed 4 other investigations. Let me also say that some of the numbers that you see here on the 5, on the new cases, are numbers representing reports that are coming to us that are supposed to go to GRU. Before GRU became a separate entity from us, all the investigations for fraud were done by the Office of the City Auditor. So people continue to call in if they think that something needs to be investigated, because I guess I can say perhaps people are not yet aware that GRIU is now a separate and independent entity from the city. What I have done is I've tried to communicate to GRIU that starting beginning of next month until the end of this month, we will accept those cases that come in and we will transmit to them. That is what we have been doing. But starting July, I told them that we will not be doing that anymore. We have been working with the office of the Internal Control Office over there, and I've communicated this to him, to the gentleman over there, and he understands that this is what is going to come. While I'm on there, I'll go to the next slide, and the next slide, well, it just talks about upcoming audit dates. I'll skip that, September and December, but I will continue to talk about the fraud hotline. What I communicated to GRIU is that beginning July 1, we are going to add to this, that you see on this chart, what you see on this slide is what is on our website. It tells people, it gives people information on numbers to call if they suspect fraud. They can call that number, or they can go to that website giving there. But if they have other reports on, say, harassment or discrimination, they go to the Equal Opportunity Office. If they have problems with employee relations, they go to Human Resources. Starting July, we are going to add more information here to say if they have any issues or fraud or anything else to do with GRIU, we will provide a phone number that they can call. We don't have it now, but that will be effective July, and we will put it up at that time. That is the update for this quarter for the Office of the City Auditor.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Willits.
All right. Thank you, Auditor Mary. Just Googling real quick on the GRU, it is harder to get to a line. The average person, if they put in Gainesville, Florida fraud, the first thing is the fraud and abuse page for us on the city side. But if you type in GRU or Gainesville Regional Utilities and in the word fraud, you get lost in like customer scam alert, if someone needs to, if their account has been breached, but not the larger practices of an organization with, hundreds of employees and hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue and spending every year. So maybe we just need to suggest to them that they need to change their website and put a phone number and say, use the word, internal. They're not used to that because they're not used to being a government that looks at reports. I'm sure most of what they are trying to manage over there is because they're a large customer base with with online accounts and paper accounts. They're trying to manage that. So, anyways, it sounds like kudos to our website team that when people go search, they find us, and it's right there. It's right there, and that's why that hotline exists. So I would say that's a good for us that we're easy to find. But I do have a question about one of those upcoming audits about buildings and building improvements audit. I just want to know a little bit about what all that looks at, because I know on our park side we were talking about a kind of an asset inventory in our next plan about every single asset we have in our parks. So I just wondered what makes a building is a restroom in a park, a city building, where some of those kind of assets overlap between building and building improvements versus some of the stuff that's in our park that are our assets. Does this cover everything, or?
So at this time, we are just saying we are looking at internal controls. This is the objective that we have as we go into this audit. But when we go into it, as we do our risk assessment, we are going into this. I believe that there are some definitions of what a building is. Immovable, whatnot, value, etc., and what a building improvement is. So we are going to be laying very heavily on those definitions, and we're going to include everything that will be encompassed in that kind of definition.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Bonus.
I had one question. As far as with the plan, as far as for the quarter, and circling back to what we saw earlier today, as far as access, we tested access from October 2024 through April of 26 for that particular department. The way AI is going, as far as with security and all, what's the plan as far as all of Gainesville looking at security? I'm here, we're talking about buildings, equipment, that sort of thing. We're talking about segregation of duties and all. Is there any other access controls that y'all plan on looking at throughout the city of Gainesville in the coming months, especially since every time you go out there and read, you see how AI keeps on improving. And I just came back from although from academia part, but I was at a 3-day AI conference in Orlando, and some of them actually impacted on industry. And it was really, really interesting and also scary to see how easy it is to go ahead and circumvent that security. So I was just curious where we're heading in that direction.
To answer specifically with respect to access on a city level, we did an audit. I believe it was 3-4 years ago, which was an access audit, and we were looking at everything, not just one specific department. So we have that, and I believe we have some recommendations in there. Lisa, you can come up if you want to say something about that.
Yes, so, excuse me, so a couple of years ago, there was a cybersecurity audit that included both GRU and the city of Gainesville, and there were some recommendations, but then we had the split. As far as the access, this GFR was a small component. There will be there will be a citywide badge and physical access, not this year, but it might be put in next year's audit plan since this was a subsection. And as far as AI, we do follow the IIA's topical requirements, and we do follow NIST and so forth. So AI tends to be a component in our planning and risk assessment process. For instance, Workday, there will be like a evaluation of AI. Do you have any other questions about that? But as far as an AI full audit, the city of Gainesville does not have a policy yet on artificial intelligence and the use of it. So we do smaller issues as we go through these various IT types of audits.
Okay, so now with that one, we're seeing that was like global as far as with Gainesville about 3 or 4 years from now. We're seeing that it's not up on the agenda now. When do you project that it would be on the agenda to actually be looking at that kind of stuff?
I'm in total agreement because I've seen how AI is developing. I mean, how just the speed, the velocity at which it is going ahead. And as Lisa said, we will not just let things go simply because we don't have a policy in place, but we are not looking at it from just an AI standpoint. It's when we go into an IT audit or any other audit for that matter, and we have a risk that we identify that we think might be anchored in AI, we will look at that. But again, to emphasize what Lisa said, we don't as yet have a policy, but we continue to look at what's going on and to be mindful of the risks that we face.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Modis. We'll need to get a motion on this one as well.
All right, I move we approve and recommend to the City Commission accept the city audit quarterly update.
I second the motion.
All right, I see no further lights. Is there any public comment on this, Madam Clerk?
There is no public comment.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously as well. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, we have member comment.
Anything? All right, Mr. Modis, welcome to your first meeting here. Glad to have you on board. And our assistant chief is no longer with us, but it was his first time here at the Audit Committee as well. So lots of firsts today with Ms. Murphy clerking the first time, and lots of new stuff going on. All right, I don't see any for the lights, so we are adjourned.